Aloha, this is Dr. Steve, and this is the student data files walkthrough for chapter 6 of our textbook on page layout. We're going to talk a lot about the box model here and the things you can do with things we put in boxes. Here we have a couple of boxes. A lot of that lining and shading is just for you to be able to see what's going on. You don't have to use these lines or shades. All right, let's take a look at the source on this. Yes, 20 pixels on the H1 and 5 on the box. The box is used where just on the larger paragraph. Okay, so you see we have a lot more padding here and very little there. Okay, let's look at some other examples of boxes. Starting up here, 6.1, there's box 1. Normal flow, one box after another. Div 1, div 2, we're defining the size of these things. And then these are showing up in the natural flow, beginning of div 1, end of div 1, beginning of div 2, end of div 2. Okay, simple enough. Box 2. All right, box inside of a box. Here we begin div 2 before the end of div 1, so div 2 is totally inside. There's beginning of div 1, beginning of div 2, the end of div 2, the end of div 1. This would be easier to see and easier to follow if this was indented. That's why it's always encouraged you indent things so you can see what's happening. Okay, that's really important. Div 2 will follow div 1 anywhere it goes. All right, let's take a look at floating. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. That's why they call me Muhammad Ali. Okay, here we have an item that's floated to the right. Pretty straightforward. YLS, float right. So it takes this image and floats it to the right, and the text wraps around it. We've added a little bit of margin, 0055, so it goes from top and then clockwise. So top 0, right 0, 5 is below, and then the other 5 is on the left side. Okay, that's all right. Float, then 6.2. Some more floating with this slight air here. This really should be down below the image. It'll look a lot better. Float left. And that's all we have is the float left. Then the next text begins, and that's the mistake. Okay. Let's clear. I've got to do some clearing. Yeah, clear. Yes, much better. Here you see this H1 is totally below the image, and then the shading of this covers the entire div. Let's take a look and see how they did that. They added something called a clear left. They put it inside of a clear left class. You can put it a number of places. And then where is that clear left class? It's put inside of a break, which is inside of a div. Oh, inside of that first div. This is good. I like this a lot. That way the whole div, which has that color, background color, the shading looks nice. Okay. You can do it that way, or you can do it this way. If you don't want that shading to go all the way down, you can add the clear left another location. Clear left is there, and your clear left is put inside of that H2, right in that text. I like the other way more, but you know, up to you. 6, 3, and 4. Let's take a look at those two quickly. 6, 3. Don't forget the IE stuff. This is a simple, this is a real basic design of a 2-column page. See, they have the wrapper at 80% auto. They floated the nav left, 90 and 10. Then they put a margin of 100 for the main. So these things are just kind of next to one another. Yeah. And because it has that nice wrapper, it kind of resizes well. All right. So this is the simple, straightforward format. And let's see if we can get a little bit of a better example. I think there's a better one here. 6.4. Yeah, this is basically the same thing with more content. The wrapper, yes, float left, UL. Oh, I didn't show you the hover. Here we have a little bit of interactivity. So when you hover over an anchor, it changes the color. Yeah, what are we doing? We have this. Looks good. List style type none. Going down. Yeah. All right. Let's look at the hover. And that's the hover. No biggie. Okay. Oops. What's next? Box sizing. Is that where we're at? Box sizing. Here we go. More boxes. 3 boxes. They should all be in a line, but they're not. Well, yes. I think we want them all in a line, but they're not because nothing is being done. Yes, correct. Nothing is being done. But this one has the box sizing. So this just makes sure that, yeah, okay, we do box sizing, border box on everything. So this will actually make it so this padding doesn't get in the way, basically, for all intents and purposes. 6.5 through 8. Let's quickly go through those. Two different kinds of buttons. Yes, I'm going to expire. Here's a button here. Simple button. You can create your own button. Here's a button. Get kind of the idea. Do a border radius. Looks good on the corners. Give it some color, background, whatever you want. Then you add a pseudo class to a class. The link visited hover. Those are pseudo classes that we're adding to the button class. So when we hover over it, it'll change color, and then we're adding that class button to an anchor. So if we click on it, it should go to a file called signup, but we don't have a file called signup. But we do have one called nav buttons. So this looks like a simple navigation. Looks like images. They are not. These are tags. Yes, home, product, services, contact, and we've just created this navigation. Box sizing, border box, UL, list out type none, display inline, so it goes horizontally. We've had with display color, all this wonderful stuff here. And then we've added the interactivity, the link, visited hover, and then we have it inside of an anchor. It's all, well, it's a list item, right? Cool. That was 5. What's next? I know, 6. Oh, this is putting your nav on the right side. You know, I'm not a real fan of this, but here it is. I think that's 6. I think 6, 7 does the same thing. I'm gonna quickly go through these. Yeah. Take a look at them at your leisure. Obviously, they're floated right. Here's a real simple image gallery. All the images are displayed at once. This is about as simple as you can get. It's all in here. UL, display none, and in this LI, and then put everything in the LI. Yeah, not my favorite image gallery. I'll show you another one. It's a little better. Okay, everything. That was 6.8. I think we're supposed to change order here. 6.8, go to layout. Yes. Horizontal and 2 column. Very nice. According to the book, this is the next thing. So this is how you do a horizontal navigation. This is important if you want to do these. Where's the trick? It's a real simple trick. Here it is. Okay, here's our nav. list all type none, display inline. Okay. The UL is list all type none. The LI in the nav is display inline. Anchor, text decoration. So each item is a little bit different, right? Display inline makes it all go horizontal. Yay. And let's take a look at 2-column. So here it's vertical. And this is your pretty straightforward style. Yeah, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that. What's next? 10, 9, 11. We'll do these slightly out of order here, but they are in the order of the text. Oh, this is very nice because you got this pop out here. That's nice to do on certain things. It really makes things stand out. And we're doing that with a border box. Somewhere. Block shadow, here it is, block shadow. Do it on this side. Remember that is a HTML5 property we can use, tag we can use, float right, padding left, font size box shadow 555, this color, right, 5 down, 5 to the right, 5 blur. And then we added, it floated it right as well, right? Float right, yeah. That's a nice look. You can change obviously the color and the position and everything, but it's a nice effect. That's 10. Let's look at 9. Okay, here's a much better gallery. You see, you hover over these things and it appears to the right. This is fun. You can do this on a lot of different things, and it's all done here in your style. In fact, it's really all done in the last 2 items here. So in a span in the gallery ID, don't display it. So whatever's inside that span, don't display it. However, if there's an anchor and you hover over it in the span in the gallery ID, then display it in a block format and display it 10 pixels from the top and 300 pixels from the left. So this is kind of fun. It's hide and seek kind of thing. Don't display and then display. And you can apply this to a lot of different things. I'm going to show you another gallery later on. That one where the image will stay up on the right side. That's the only thing I don't like about this one. All right, we did 10, 9. Let's go 11. Oh, pretty straightforward. Let's go. What's next? Oh, positioning, fixed scroll, relative, and absolute. Okay, fixed scroll. Fixed is real nice, very usable. Watch the nav on the left here. Doesn't move. You can do that to a nav. You can do that to a little button at the bottom of the page or something. A lot of people do that, you know, scroll to the top kind of thing, jump to the top. And it's done pretty easily. We put it in a nav, tag, position, fixed. Whatever's in there just stays the same. And you can add this to many things if you like. It'd be a little weird, but you can do it. Alright, that was fixed. Scroll creates this little box. I don't like this implementation, but other large implementations I think look good. And we do that with the overflow. Here we have a div, and if you have contents, what this is saying basically is if you have contents in the div that is more than this box, this 300 by 100 pixel box can hold, then create a scroll bar and display it that way. You have other options besides overflow. You can also clip it, and you can resize even. So there's a lot of different things. All right, that was scroll. Then we had what, relative. Where is it? There it is. Simple thing. Let's move this to the right a little bit. So what this is saying is, for this paragraph, I want you to move this relative to where it would normally be from the left 30 pixels. Okay. Sometimes useful to create special effect. Absolute is probably used more often. Here it moves something an exact amount. So it's 300 pixels wide and moves it from the left 100 and from the top 200. It works well in the upper left quadrant, does not work so well in other quadrants. There we go. Absolute, 200 from the left, 100 from the right, the width is 300, and it moves it. Play around with this, change the left, right, left top, and size, and see how that goes. Okay, this is a quick walkthrough of the student data files. Please be sure you read more carefully the contents of the chapter, and we'll talk again next week. Aloha.